Hi, I'm Jo Kiminade and I'm talking to John Knorr, CEO and founder of SISS Business Systems. Today we're talking about a level playing field, John. Fairness in search with search engines has become increasingly contentious. How does Uglii deal with that?
Jo, the problem with search engines is that search engines tend to favour the businesses that can afford to buy search engine discovery, I suppose.
Right.
And of course, not everybody can be at the top of the front page of a search engine result. Uglii system is different because it's presenting a lot of its search functionality spatially, so it's on a map basis. It means that if a business is closest to the searcher, if the searcher is using themselves as the centre of the search, which somebody with a mobile phone does, or they simply wanting what's closest to their business or their place of their home or whatever it may be,
Sure.
then the centre of the search changes. Therefore, businesses have got a fair chance, if they're close to that business, then they're going to be discovered. Simple as that.
Right.
Through our processes. So
Yep.
It's a very fair system, and the fairness increases, I suppose, with specialisation, because our system has got the ability for every business on the planet to be discoverable through those spatial processes, and it's also got the ability to use our ability to very finely define the product or service that somebody wants. Then that makes every business on the planet that much more discoverable.
Right.
Okay, so it's a very powerful system, but it's also a very fair system. It's a level playing field.
Yep.
Now, the only way that somebody can influence the results, I suppose, or the listing results in the search results in our system, is to have more information, which implies a link across to their website.
Right.
So our system will identify those businesses and put them at the top of the list, and then the businesses that are in the system that are verified, and then the businesses that are in the system that are not verified. So
Right.
the high risk.
But this still falls into that geographic or spatial thing we were talking about before.
Yeah, and the system also lists closest to furthest. So it will list the businesses that are closest to me. If I'm walking down the street with my mobile phone, then I'm certainly interested in the closest business. So
Sure.
It'll list it first, and then the more distant
Right.
business further down the list.
So from the user's perspective too, it's a lot less frustrating. If I'm in my place of business and looking for a supplier, and I go to a
Absolutely.
search engine and I'm looking for some sort of input for my business, I don't want to find out what's available in Denmark.
No, that's right.
Yeah. So from that perspective, it's a lot less frustrating.
Absolutely, and because I'm in that search process, I'm defining the catchment into which I want to look to. So
Right.
that avoids me looking in Denmark. I'm simply saying I'm looking within 5 k's around me.
Sure.
Or I'm looking within 100 metres around me if I want to be that specific.
Right.
In our system. So.
Yep.
So the search is in control of all of those parameters, those spatial, those distance parameters. It's in control of that. So it makes the system very fair, because only businesses that are within that catchment
Sure.
that the search is defined are going to come up.
Right.
So if a business is in the catchment, it will come up in the results.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
If it's outside the catchment, it's not going to come up in the results.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's a very, very, very fair system. There's no way you can corrupt the processes of the system to move the search results further up the processes.
Right.
So it's very fair.
And every business basically in every economy has a capacity to list both its products and services.
Yeah, so it can come in, it lists where it is geographically, and if a business has got more than one outlet, it can list both of the outlets or the many outlets that it's got in the system, and they can all be discoverable geographically, spatially.
Sure.
Okay, so, and all of the product or service that business provides. So our system sort of favours the business that take the care to make sure that all the products or services that are in there are listed in the process.
Sure.
But that's the only way it's unfair, and we can't influence that.
Right.
Okay. But the system is inherently very fair.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. These listings are free, so if you're a hardware store and you want to list every product that you stock,
Every product, everything that you sell in your hardware store, you can do that
for free.
for free.
Right.
Okay. Now, there is also processes that go on the side in the system, which will even help a business get the brands that it sells into the system. But they're largely done by the brand owning business. So if a brand owning business wants to credential my hardware store, then it can do that.
Sure.
And tell the world that I'm a reseller of its product or service. So
Right. Yep.
it's a very powerful system for every business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, if a business has got multiple outlets, okay, it's got 100 different places of business, then the business is going to get more discoverability simply because it's in more places.
But as a one-on-one, it's an equal discoverability.
Absolutely.
Right, so it's certainly a lot fairer than
search engines.
Oh
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right, and everyone has the possibility of being discovered without having to pay to be top of the list, so to speak.
Yeah, that's right. There's no corruption of those search processes at all.
Right.
Okay. And we don't even put any advertising on our results pages or anything. It's very straightforward. It's a level playing field.
Right, okay. Well, it sounds like a very fair level playing field,
It
John.
is, Joe.
Thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks.
Cheers.